We're going to start standing with your hand weights if you want to use them. And if you just came in, we'll also use a block today. So those two props, but of course, weights are optional, right? They're always optional, but just standing with your feet comfortably under your hips, toes pointed forward, just holding onto your weights if you're holding them. Just notice how they weight the arms down, just feeling the shoulders, sort of water falling down our back. Lift the heart. So we'll just begin with lifting the heels and lowering them and breathing. So if you want to just let your arms float out as you lift your heels up and inhale. And exhale back down, palms facing the body, right? So inhale, lift, taking nice full breaths. Arms can go as high as feels comfortable to you. Exhale down. And then point your palms to face forward and lift up on your inhale. And down on your exhale. And up. Breath, exhale down. And then turn your palms to face away from you. Opening our shoulders. Inhale up. And exhale back down. And one more time. Lift up. And lower down. Good. And then go ahead and bring those arms up. Bend the elbows and point your palms to face forward. So feel like our back, our arms, everything's up against a wall, right? Behind you. And then just rotate at the elbow. So one arm, forearm comes parallel and then lift. I think this is called scarecrow. And then the other arm parallel and lift. And when we lift, so alternating, when we lift the arm, we kind of press it into that invisible wall, right? So lift and sort of feel like you're pressing back when you do that. Rotate. We're internally, externally rotating our shoulder. Again. Good. And then when you're even on both sides, bring your arms in front of you together towards each other, stretching the back, and then press your arms into that wall behind you, kind of squeeze the scapula together. And again, bringing arms forward, feeling a nice stretch, and then pressing arms back. And one more time, bringing elbows, arms towards each other, and pressing back. And then keep pressing into that wall, slide your arms straight up and straight down. Straight up and straight down. One more time. And breathe. And then in this position, we're going to twist. So inhale, exhale, twist to one side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. One more time. Exhale, twist. And come center, straighten your arms, let them float down by your side. Relax, maybe shake it out. Good. And then we're going to bring our arms back up and we're going to do that cross crawl, same side thing again. So lifting your right knee, bring left elbow in, bring it back, left knee, right elbow, back. Cross crawl. Now this is to cause our brain to go back and forth between cross patterning and same side patterning, and then out to the side. So we do same side. And this is a good thing to do if you're having trouble thinking and doing at the same time. And then we'll go back to cross crawl in front, right? It's a good thing to kind of help the brain function better for thinking and doing simultaneously. Good. And then one more time, out to the side. Same side. Breathe. Try to do it more gracefully than I'm doing it. And then one more time, cross crawl. And we're not supposed to do it too quickly. It's supposed to be done fairly slowly and deliberately. One more on each side. Good. but we do what we can. Stretch your arms out, let them relax, give them a shake. Ooh. And come to the end of your mat. And we're going to roll down. So just holding onto your weights if you want. You're going to let your head, shoulders, arms, let the weights kind of bring us down. And we're going to hang here. You can put your weights on the ground with your hands on them, bend and straighten the knees. Letting your knees be as bent as they want to be, arms heavy, tucking the pelvis under as we stack the spine back up. And when we come to the top, we're going to roll down again. Inhaling, exhaling down. Good, and hang. And here we can bend one knee and then the other. Letting the hips shift a little bit here. Both legs can be straight. And if you are holding your weights and you want to just release them next to your mat, on the sides of your mat, we'll walk our hands out into tight. Spread the fingers wide and just do a little stretch here. So a little down dog stretch. So lifting the tailbone, letting the heels stretch down, letting your body move around, release head and neck. Stretch to the back side here. And then let's go ahead and lower down to the mat. Just bring your knees onto the mat. Come around to our back. Now here you can take your block first and put it between your legs. So like between the thighs, knees, however you like to do that. And take your weights if you want to use them. But we're going to bring our arms out from our shoulders in T position. Good. And take a nice inhale here. And then as you exhale, squeeze the block. We're not going to bridge yet. I just want you to squeeze the block on your exhale. Exhaling all the air out, but not squeezing too hard, right? Finding that amount of squeeze. And then relax as you inhale. And one more time, exhale. Squeeze the block and feeling your tailbone lift a little bit, feeling your low back on the mat. Good. And then relax. And then what we'll do is we'll lift our arms up as we inhale. And then on our exhale, we'll bridge up. So peel your spine, gently squeeze and peel the spine all the way up into a bridge. And then let your arms float back down on your inhale and melt the spine down on your exhale. So just do that a few times. So on our inhale, arms lift. We bridge up on our exhale. We float the arms back down on our inhales. We press the hips up and melt the spine down on our exhale. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, peel off the mat. Inhale, float the arms down, pressing the hips up and melt the spine down on your exhale. Now, keep your hips down, arms down. You're going to inhale, sweep your arms down and curl up. As we exhale, we're going to reach and squeeze, right? So you're just reaching by your legs. Good. And then take your right hand over to your left hand and put it on top and bring it back and bring your left hand over to your right hand. We just want to rotate our upper back, bring it back, and then the right hand over to the left and bring it back and left over to the right. And bring it back. Now stay here. Lift the arms up by the ears. Lie your head and shoulders down. Arms float down out from your shoulders. Good. And then inhaling, exhale, peel off the mat again into a bridge. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, melt the spine down. Good. Inhale, arms out, sweep them down and roll up, squeeze the block, and then straighten the legs and roll up and stretch. So we're going to do that little sequence with the bridge and the roll up a few times. So you're going to slowly roll down. I'm kind of sticking to my mat, and then lifting the arms as you do. Let them float down by your side, or you can take them over your head if you prefer, right? Whatever works for you. Exhale, peel off the mat into a bridge. Good. Inhale, exhale, bridge down, sweep the arms and curl up and squeeze, roll up and stretch. Good. Inhale, exhale, back down, slide the feet in. Arms lift up and float down or over your head, whichever you prefer. Peel off the mat as you gently squeeze your block. Inhale, exhale, bridge down. And as your hips come down, curl up and reach and squeeze and roll up. Okay, so kind of a flowing movement of our spine. Inhaling, exhaling, roll back down, and you can either lift your arms or just sweep them out and over your head or by your out from your shoulders. Peel off the mat. Everybody's shoulders are different, so whatever works for your shoulders, right? Exhale down, sweep the arms as your hips come down. Please roll up and stretch. So hopefully we're getting the little rhythm here. Roll down and let your arms float down. Exhale, peel off the mat. Good. Inhaling, exhaling. Really articulate the spine, right? And then as the hips come down, we sweep the arms, roll up, squeeze, curl up, then roll up. After you squeeze your block, take a stretch. Inhale, exhale down. This time we're going to stay here with your arms either out from your shoulders or over your head. Like I said, whatever works for your shoulders, stay there and let your legs sway over to one side. And just relax your legs for a moment here. Take a breath. And then lift the knees and let them sway the other way. Take a breath here. Good. And bring the knees back to the top. And then we're going to bring our arms up to the ceiling, right? So like this, with either with your weights or without, doesn't matter. Inhale, exhale, curl up and reach past your legs. And now lift your legs up. So we're going to double toe touch. So you're going to bring your legs away from you as you bring your arms straight up. And then exhale everything back, right? So inhale, legs go toward the floor, arms lift up, but don't go past that straight up position. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, kind of really reach and squeeze, right? And then open, and then reach and squeeze. And then open, and reach and squeeze. How about one more? Open and reach and squeeze. And now lay your head and shoulders down. And then take a moment just to give your knees a little hug and relax your body. And then we're going to bring our arms up and our legs up again in this position. And we're just going to change the movement, but similar, right? So inhaling, As we exhale, we're going to curl up and straighten our legs and squeeze, right? So we're at whatever angle the legs want to be at there. And then lie back down as you inhale. And exhale, curl up, reach and squeeze. Inhale, lie back down. Just like that. Exhale, curl up and little squeeze. It's a little 100 variation. Inhale, exhale. Now let's add a lift. So we reach and squeeze. We stay up and we lift our legs. We lower them back down. We bend our knees and lie down. Good. Exhale up again. Reach and squeeze. Lift the legs. Lower. Bend everything back to the start. Exhale up and squeeze. Lift. Lower. Bend and lie down. One more. Exhale up and squeeze and reach. Lift. Lower. Bend and lie back down. Good. And if you want to rest, feel free to do so. Take a little rest, take a little movement. Otherwise, bring the arms out from your shoulders. I can see that I'm migrating way up my mat here. Okay, arms out from the shoulders, legs here with your block, and then just slowly take your legs to one side as you inhale, anchoring the shoulders, little squeeze as you exhale back. And then take it to the other side as you inhale, anchoring the shoulders, little squeeze to bring it back. And your knees can be closer to your body if you want, if that's more comfortable for your back, right? Whatever you need to do for that. Inhale to the side and exhale back. And then if you want to straighten your legs, you can add a little bit more challenge, right? Mostly it's about just using that block to give it a little squeeze to help engage everything when you bring your legs back, keeping your shoulders anchored. Go to the side, maybe you go a little farther as we go and bring it back. And one more, or till you're even on both sides. And when you come to the top, we'll bend the knees if they're straight. And then clasp your hands or bring your weights behind your head. You know, you can just hold them there. And we're going to curl up. And then we're just going to squeeze the block as we exhale and lift the hips off the ground to try to bring the block toward your head, right? So exhale, lift, squeeze, little squeeze and lift. So we engage our pelvic floor muscles. Yeah. So hip hop, it's called. Try to relax your head and your hands. Last one. And relax down. At this point, you can just let go of your weights, put them down, hug your knees. Take a little break. Yeah. And then we're going to take the block out and bring our, after you're done hugging your knees and saying, oh yeah, I need that break. Go ahead and bring your feet on the mat and open your knees apart and just let your hips relax open for a moment. And let your knees and hips just relax here. A couple of breaths. And then lift the knees up. And then we're going to press our hips up off the ground and place our block under our sacrum. So just put it right under the sacrum. And then you're going to take hold of your right leg and stretch your left leg long. Kind of stretch that knee in a little bit. A little hip flexor stretch. And if you kind of just gently pull the rib cage down toward the mat, right, you'll feel a little increase in that stretch, a little more stretch there. So. And then we'll slide our left leg in, grab hold of that leg as we stretch our right leg long. And kind of maybe gently pull that knee in a little bit, just really stretch the legs and kind of pulling our rib cage down if we want to increase that stretch. Of course, we're not on too high of a thing. Sometimes if you're on the roller, this can be pretty intense. A block, of course, is not as high as a roller. So, okay, then we're going to switch back to the first leg, and you're going to extend your leg to the ceiling, grab a hold behind your thigh as you stretch your left leg long. So we're going to stretch our leg this way with really trying to get that left leg reaching into the mat, reaching long, so we get the hip flexor stretch as well. And you can move your foot. You can always take hold of a strap or something when we do this to stretch our leg, at least for the first part. And then we'll draw our left leg in and straighten that leg to the ceiling and stretch your right leg down, holding on behind the thigh and giving this leg a good stretch. Really reaching that right leg long and moving your foot, flex and point or circle ankle. And then what we'll do is we'll go into a slow scissors, or it's called single straight leg stretch. But what you want to do is first pull your rib cage down toward the mat and then bring your other leg up and switch. Okay, so that will help make it a little easier. Give it a stretch and then pull the rib cage down to switch legs and stretch. So every time you go to switch legs, make sure you pull that rib cage down toward the mat and switch. And really try to get your leg that's on the ground really down there and stretch it out. Right? So we really increase the hip flexor stretch. Good. A more active hip flexor stretch, right? Good. And then whatever leg is up, go ahead and stay there. Bring your other leg up. And we're just going to open the legs apart. So straddle the legs. You can hold on with your hands or whatever you need to do. Hold on inside or outside, or just try to let gravity give us a little stretch here. And then we'll bring our legs back together at the top. Bend the knees. Put your feet on the mat. But you're going to keep your block here. And what we're going to do is take your weights if you want them. But if you don't have to use them. Bring up arms out from your shoulders in that T position. We're going to press our hips up so you have the block if you need it to help you rest or give you support. And then float your one leg up. Whichever leg wants to start, just float that knee up, right? And then straighten your leg. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower the leg down as we lift our arms up. And we're going to bring the leg back up as our arms float down. So it's hard to do this. It's a lot of work. So if you need to rest in the block for any amount of time, you got it there, right? Lower legs, lift arms, lift leg, lower arms, and breathe. Like I need to use this block for resting. I'm noticing. Good. And the next time your arms float down and your leg comes up, bend your knee and put that foot on the ground and let yourself relax on your block. And then we'll press the hips up to do the other side. So float that leg up and straighten it. So as leg lowers down, we lift our arms. As leg lifts up, we lower the arms back out. And breathe. Again, resting if needed, or at least partially resting, using the block for support, right? Just a little bit of support even, right? You can kind of do a half and half thing. Yeah, so really strengthen your glutes and hamstrings, obviously. All right, next time the arms go out and the leg comes up, bend that knee, foot on the mat, relax your hips on the block, release your weights, press the hips up, take the block out, and we're going to bridge down one bone at a time. Really articulate down. Good. Wow. And then we're just going to stretch our arms now. If you want to grab your weights, you can. We're going to stretch our arms over our head, stretch our legs out, and flex the feet, reach through one leg and arm and then the other, and just do a big full body stretch and reach, right? Side to side. This always feels good, this one, right? Really reach and reach. We're actually lengthening our body. True. All right, and then relax everything. Open the legs a little bit wider, arms into a V, and flexing the feet. Take one hand over to the other, and if you got your weight, make sure you don't take it over your head. You just go directly up over to the side to stretch for that hand. And then we can lift our arm up, lay back down, take it to the other side. Good. Coming on to our back, go ahead and bend your knees and bring your feet on the mat. Sweep the arms to curl up. And if you've got your weights, they can help you roll up. Right? And to start with, we're going to extend our legs forward, lift our sits bones, and bring the pelvis forward and relax over the legs. A little forward fold stretch here. And then we're going to sit up, and with our weights, if you've got weights that roll, great. Otherwise, you can just slide your hands, right? Open, well, first start with that butterfly. So you have your feet together and your knees apart and that loose bend, and put your weights down. And you're just going to roll them forward and just roll them out and roll them back in a couple times. Roll it out. In. Roll it out. In. And then if you're able to straddle, if you're not able to straddle, you don't have to. But if you are, we straddle the legs. And we're going to bring the weights over to one leg, right? And now if you're in a butterfly, you can still do this, right? You have a short leg, okay? So make sure your pelvis doesn't move and just roll the weights out. So the pelvis stays facing forward, roll it back in, stack up, roll it out. You really feel a nice stretch in the side of that hip. Roll it out. Back. And then we'll go to the other side. So a slight turn to the other leg. Again, without moving the pelvis, go ahead and roll it away. And roll it out. And go. One more time. and step back up. And then we're going to pick up our weights. And you can do this with your legs in the diamond or the straddle, but you want to make sure you can get your spine nice and tall. I'm going to lift up the spine, the arms, the weights here. So if you need to bend your knees or sit with your legs in that diamond, you're going to hinge forward. So flat back, right? However far you go. Keep the arms lifted, keep the head lifted, really flatten the back. And then go ahead and let your spine relax and stack back up. And then again, bring the arms up and over. We're going to lift tall, lift, 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 flat back, forward, hinging from the hips. Reaching, lifting here. And then let your back relax, stack back up. And then turn toward whatever leg you did first before. Same thing, only this way, right? So we're going to lift up, flat back, hinge. Make sure your pelvis doesn't move. It's just a little twist with the torso. Flat back, reach, relax, and stack up. And again, lift up, lift tall, flat back, forward, hinge forward. Relaxing the spine to stack back up. And guess what? We're going to go center over to the other side without shifting the pelvis. Lift up, good, reach tall and flat back forward. Good back strengthening here, right? Really good for our back and shoulders. Hinge and then let your spine relax to stack up. And one more time, lift it up. Hinge forward, keep the arms lifted, keep the head lifted as you reach out, right? And then let your spine relax, stack up. And one more time to the center. So we're going to lift the arms up, facing center, lift tall, flat forward. So hinge forward here. And then we're going to rotate and look under one arm. Back to center, keep lifting the arms, keep the head lifted, rotate, look under the other arm. This is hard with weights, right? If you're doing it with the weights, it's very challenging. And then back to center, really flatten the back. And then let your arms float all the way down to the ground. Let everything relax and roll the weights in or stack your spine up if you're not using weights. Sitting. Oh, that is a lot harder with weights, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to take our block now and our weights. I'm switching over to these ones. If you want to use weights, great. We're going to have our block between our legs in that half bend. We're going to reach our arms forward, inhale tall, and as we exhale, we're just going to kind of curl back to our sacrum here, right? And then you're going to open one arm out to the side and follow it back. Take it however far back it goes. And then bring it forward and come up. Inhale, exhale, curl tailbone under. Follow your other arm back. Bring it forward and come up. Inhale, exhale, back. First arm, follow it back. Bring it forward and come up. Exhale back. Second arm, follow it back. Squeezing that block a little bit to help you stabilize and come up. Two more. Exhale back. Rotate and return and lift. Exhale back and rotate. And return and lift. That's about all I can do. All right. And then we'll do a few rollbacks and you can do, or roll-ups rather, and you can do them however you want. You can, just take it all the way back and lift your arms. But if you've got weights, don't take your arm. You might not take your arms all the way back, or you just do it slowly. Okay. And then we squeeze our block to come back up. Inhale, exhale, roll back. Whatever, however you like to do the roll-ups, using your block to help you and your weights. Maybe your knees like to bend and straighten like mine do. Or whatever works for you. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Keep your chest open. When you come to the top of your next one, you can go ahead and stay there and just take a little stretch over your legs. Right, so a little rest. And then we're going to bring, I'm breathing hard. Okay, then we're going to bring the block between our, now you might like it between your ankles or your feet or your calves or wherever your knees, doesn't really matter. It's wherever you feel like you can hold on to it, right? And we're going to roll onto our back, take our arms over our head. You may have weights. And then we're going to roll our body onto one side. And then your top arm is going to come up and on your leg. Good. Inhale here. And then as we exhale, we're going to float the legs up, reach for our feet. Give the block a little squeeze. Lift the arm up. Lower it down and back down. Nice deep breath. Exhale up. Lift the arm up to the ceiling. Lower it down and relax. Inhale. Exhale. Float the legs and reach. Lift. Bring that arm back and float down. We're going to take that into a little bit of a teaser here. So on the inhale, you relax. On your exhale, you float the legs up like we did and reach. And then sweeping our bottom arm down, we're going to roll onto our back and come up. Now you can have your knees bent, you can straighten them, and then we're going to come back onto our side. Just kind of whatever works for you. All right, inhale, exhale, float the legs, float the head, sweep that bottom arm, roll back into T. And you might lift your arms or not, right? And then bring it back the way you came. One more. Inhale, exhale, float up, sweep that bottom arm to roll back and lift. And roll slowly back down to our side. And you can bring your top hand in front of you on the ground, bend your knees, weigh in, pull that block in, pull it in, really feel a good stretch there. Take hold of your block and stretch your legs back out. And then what we'll do is bend the knees, bring both arms in front of you. And if you want to use weights, you can for this, but we're going to start with a book opening, right? So we want to kind of reach the top arm. If you're using a weight, just move carefully. You're going to open the arm and follow it back as far as you go. Yeah, of course, the weight will really help with that stretch. Yeah. And close your book. And then one more time, kind of reaching our top arm, taking it up, following it back, open, and close our book. Great. And then we're going to press ourselves up to our elbow. You don't need a block for this, but you can use your weights if you want. And elbow under the shoulder, straighten the top leg if you want as well. Press the ribs, lift them up. Press the elbow, lift the ribs, lift the hips, reach up, and then just round your shoulder, reach through, and lift back up. And round like you're hugging a ball. And lift up. Exhale as we round. Inhale, lift up. And then let your hips come down. Let your arm come down and come up to mermaid. And now we're going to take our block not our weight. So we're going to shift back and forth between them a little bit. Take your block out from the side, so the knee that's in front like that. Or if you need to do half mermaid, of course, you can have your leg out like that. Either way, we're going to bring this block out to our side. And what we'll do is put this hand on it, right? Lift our spine tall, and we're just going to rotate till both hands are on the block, trying to point our chest between our hands, right? That direction. And then bending your elbows, lower down. First, glue that front foot to your bottom leg so your legs lift up. So you're going to lower down and press back up. Right? So we want to lift our legs up as we lower down and press back up. Good. And lower down and press up. And lower down and press up. One more time. Lower down. All the way to the block and press up. And then go ahead and open out. Take this arm for a side stretch by our ear here. So side stretch here. You might just kind of look up under that arm, open to this toward the ceiling, right? Lifting a little bit. And then back to side and maybe rotating the chest to point down a little bit and feeling that stretch under the shoulder. You can even float your arm all the way down to your leg. Or you could stay with the arm up if you prefer that stretch, right? It's up to you. It feels good to you. And then we'll come up and cross this leg over for a hip stretch. So just a short hip stretch. So if you want to do that with your legs stacked and just lean forward or come into a figure four, just do whatever feels good to you. Yeah. I know some of you like to go into your back. Seated figure fours also. Some days my knees they complain. Some days they don't. Every day is different. We just want to get a little stretch in that hip. And then we'll make our way out of that stretch onto sitting with our block between the ankles, feet, calves. Sometimes the calves make it easier to hold on to, I think. Weights if you want them. There's a lot of flesh there, right? Okay, we roll onto our back, arms over our head, and then see if we can roll our whole body onto our other side. Lift that top arm, put it on the leg. And then inhale, exhale, float the legs, reach toward your feet, and then lift the arm up. Load it back down and all the way down. Inhale. Exhale, float up. Nice deep breath. Float the arm. Let it float down and all the way down. Exhale up again. Float it up. And holding up as we let it float down. And all the way down. And then taking it into teaser. Inhale, exhale, up, sliding that bottom arm, coming up into teaser, bent, whatever you want to do with your arms, and then making your way back down the way you came. Inhale, exhale, float up, slide that bottom arm, and go back down with control. Last one, float up, slide that arm, roll back. And make our way all the way back onto our side. Top arm in front of you. Pull the knees in. Way in. Grab hold of your block and take it out. And you can stretch your legs out, or you can just bring them into a bend. Sometimes it feels good to stretch them out and just let them be bent there in front. Both arms in front of our chest, with or without the weights. Reach your your top hand slowly opening into our book opening. So we're going to take it back as far as our arm will go. This can feel really good with the weight if your shoulders can handle it. And then we close our book. And again, reach and open. Get as far back as you can. Just feeling that weight and that stretch. And we close our book. Such a good one. And then we're going to come up onto our elbow underneath the shoulder. And if you want to straighten your top leg, you can. And then we're going to really press into the ground, lift the ribs, lift the hips, lift the arm, inhaling, exhale, round through. And inhale, lift back up. Exhale, round through. Rib cage rotates around the spine. Lift and round. And this time we lift up, lower the hips and arm, come all the way up to mermaid or half mermaid. My block's over here. Make sure you get your block. Take it out from your side like that. Kind of straight out, right, like that. And find your mermaid, lift tall, hand on the block, rotate over so that we try to get our chest point in between our hands. We're gluing this bottom foot to our thigh, right? So that both legs lift up as we bend our elbows. And you can adjust your block to where it feels right for you, right? So little push up, lower to the block and press up. Lower down and press up. But we really want to be in the twist, right? In the mermaid twist here. Lower down and press up. And lower down and press up. It's a wonky push up, right? A wonky push up. Last one. Lower down. And when you press up on this one, go ahead and open out to the side. Take this arm up and side stretch over. You might want to just kind of let your head and neck do a little movement, release. And let's lift our chest kind of up toward the ceiling, like a little rotation upward. And then back to side, and maybe a little rotation downward. As you stretch, you'll feel that through that shoulder. If you want, you can let your arm float down. That feels good to you. You could keep it over your head. And then we'll come face forward to lift up. Great, and then bring this leg around. Just because I like to balance the sides afterwards, we bring our feet together in a diamond shape. And just stretch forward over your legs here. Partly because my hips are kind of a mess and they need it. Yeah, do a little stretch. Can't do too much of this stretch. It's so good for us. And then we're going to be coming onto our all fours with the block. Later we'll need weights, but right now we'll use the block. So go ahead and put the block between your knees here. Just squeeze that. Just kind of find yourself stable. Fingers spread wide. Stuck to my mat. Okay, so we're going to inhale. And then as we exhale, we're just going to gently squeeze the block and reach one arm out in front, right? So you really feel that connection from your core through the arm, and then relax as you put your hand down and inhale. And then as you exhale, gently squeeze and reach your other arm forward. Feel that connection. Good. And relax everything down. And then 2 more. Inhale, exhale, gently squeeze, reach the first arm and bring it down as you relax. Exhale, squeeze and reach your other arm out and bring it back. It's kind of harder than it looks, right? And then we'll just do a little cat-cow. So inhaling, exhaling as we curl the tailbone under, round the back. Good. And then coming into an arch. And then again, around the back. And come into an arch. Now we're going to tuck our toes into the mat. Inhale. As we exhale, we're going to round the back and gently squeeze the block, lift the knees up. Lower them down and arch. Again, rounding the back, and then after we round, float the knees up and then squeeze a little bit, float the knees down and arch. One more time, round, float the knees a little bit. See if you can do a few little squeezes while you're here, if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Stay up and do a few. And then we'll float the knees down and arch. Relax your toes. And then coming into neutral. Take your block out. And we're going to come onto our belly with our weights now. I am dripping here. So it must be humid. All right, so we're going to take our weights out in front of us. If there are weights that roll, but you can always just put your hands on the ground. Wider, made a little wider than our shoulders, with our hands, our forearms on top of them, right? So we want to find that position, and we're looking down. We're going to draw our shoulder blades towards our ears. I'm going to draw the shoulder blades down the back and pull the weights in, roll them in, and roll them back out. Shoulders move with it, right? Shoulders go up, shoulders go down, and we pull and lift. Back down. Shoulder blades go up, and then they go down. We pull and lift. Let's just keep going a couple more times. Maybe getting a little higher, maybe not. To that extension, you can kind of hang out there like for a moment too. Sometimes that feels good to kind of stay here and press into the weights, out. Sort of an active back extension, right? And this time when we go out, we can stay there, resting your arms on your weights. You're going to press the front of the pelvis into the ground as you inhale. Reach and float your right arm and left leg as you exhale. Lower down. Again, reach and lift your left arm and right leg and lower down. So pressing pelvis into the ground, just do a little slow swim. Focus more on lengthening than lifting. Lengthen out and up, lower down. Lengthen out and up. Really want to lengthen. And then when you're even, lengthen both arms, both legs, kind of just float up and hold. And lower down. And then if you want to use your weights, you can grab them. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And we're going to hold them. And we're going to float our arms up Bring them out from our shoulders. Point your palms toward your feet. Reach back, roll the shoulders back, lift up, reach and lift. And then relax down here. Maybe you want to turn your head to one side. And then point your palms toward the ceiling, or your weights toward the ceiling. We're going to lift head and chest as we look forward, lifting our arms and keeping them close by your side, coming back into this position. We're going to stay here and just pulse the arms up. So little tiny pulses close by your side, straight up. Right? Little pulses. So you're going to get into the triceps if you're using weights, obviously, right? And as well as that wonderful back work that we're doing. Just breathe, keep going. And go ahead and take a rest. Lay down for a moment. And then one more time, we're going to lift up, reach and lift the arms, lift everything up, take the arms back the way they came, slowly out from your shoulders, over your head in that wide V, and relax everything down. And then we're going to come up onto with elbows under the shoulders to start with, right? So Sphinx. And then bring yourself up to your knees. Stretch back on your heels. On here. Maybe knees apart, maybe knees together, whatever feels good to you. All right, and then we'll make our way up to sitting. Ourselves way up to sitting. Oh, take your weights and sit with your legs either in the diamond or in a straddle if you're able to. It's up to you what you can manage here, so you can sit tall. Good. And then we're just going to lift our weights up and take them into saw. So lift tall and rotate. See if you can bring this weight to the outside of that leg. Roll it away as you reach your arm back, your other arm back away from this arm. And then roll it back in. Lift up and center. And rotate the weight down as you reach your back arm away from you. Roll this weight away. Anchor the hips. Roll it in to pick it up and bring it back. And rotate nice and tall and roll it away as you reach that back arm so you really feel the stretch between the arms. You feel your chest get us opening up there. Roll it back. Lift it up. Good. Roll it back. And then when you're even on both sides, go ahead and bring your arms down and just do one little side stretch. So whatever side you want to start with, this arm is on the weight, this arm is by our ear. Just take it over in this big arcing stretch and back up. Take it over to the other side. Feel it under the shoulder and lift up. And then just sitting tall, chin pulled back slightly, just circle with your nose in front of you, right? Just circle the head. Crack, 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 right? And then the other direction makes lots of noise in there. Do a couple circles. Right. All right. Thanks for coming. We lost a few along the way, but let me get a button here.